Okay, class, everybody please stand. So everybody has logged in to your HoloLens and Medivis. You have taken your pre-test for both digestive, urinary, reproductive system together with the endocrine and respiratory system. So I want you all now to go to the menu on the left side of the screen where it says digestive system, and click on that, and you will know that you are there because it turns blue, right? So on the left side we have the menu for the systems, on the right side we have the menu for all the things that you can do for your HoloLens. Okay, so what you have here, is everybody logged in already? So what you can see there would be what? Let's start from the top, okay? So let's move towards the, you have the mouth, the teeth, right? Okay, you move to the right side, right? You see the gland there, what is the name of that gland that's found in front of the ear? It's called the parotid gland, right? So apparently you see the parotid gland there, okay? On the left and the right, and both these glands are found where? In front of the ear, right? So the parotid gland being a salivary gland, what does it secrete? Saliva. Purpose of which is to what? Moisten the food we eat, right? Okay. Now, of course, you have the mouth there. Now, go to the dissection tool on the right side of the menu. Click on that. So I want you to dissect the upper part of the mouth and lower part where you have the maxilla and the mandible. Click on that. Okay. So what do you see there now? Okay, you see the two glands, sublingual, and then what's the other one? There's a submandibular gland, and a sublingual gland would be found under the tongue. And you see that big space at the back of the mouth is called what? It's called the pharynx, right? Now remember the pharynx has three parts: nasal pharynx, oropharynx, and what's the other one? Okay, it's called what? Laryngopharynx, right? Okay, you see that? Okay. Now, let's go down. What is the structure after the mouth and the pharynx? You have what? Esophagus, right? Okay. You see the esophagus there? Okay. And then once you have reached the esophagus, can you see the liver there? Right? Okay. And you can see that the liver is on the right upper quadrant. And then below that will be the stomach, right? Okay. Now you see that organ underneath the liver that is green in color. What is that? The gallbladder, which stores the bile. What organ produces the bile, class? Liver. What organ stores the bile? The gallbladder, right? Okay. Now let us try to dissect the liver. Okay. What do you see? The gallbladder, and then of course what? The stomach, right? Okay. Now let's try to dissect the stomach. Now, what is that gland behind the stomach? And underneath the stomach, it's called what? The pancreas. Can you see the pancreas? Okay. So there's the pancreas there. Okay. So you have the gallbladder, the pancreas. And then, based on what we see right now, you can see that you have the large and the small intestine, right? Let's start with the large intestine first because it's still more superficial. Now, what is that structure hanging from the cecum? Appendix, right? Can you see the word appendix there? And then you have what? So on the HoloLens, you can see the whatever we see there. And then what do you see is what? Ascending colon. Then what's next after transverse? Then sigmoid, then rectum, and then what? Rectum and anus, right? Okay. So with the use of your dissection tool, class, I want you to dissect the ascending colon. Then transverse colon. Then descending colon. So what is left behind would be what? The small intestine, right? Okay. So try to get rid of the gallbladder, please. Gallbladder. So you can see there that the gallbladder has been removed, where is the head of the pancreas attached to? What part of the small intestine? The duodenum, right? It's only 12 inches in length or 1 foot in length. What's the next part after the duodenum? Jejunum, then what's the last part? The ileum, okay? So the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum, those three make up your what? Small intestine, right? Okay? Okay, now, let's move on to the urinary system. Get rid of digestive on the menu on the left, and then go to the urinary system, okay? So what are those two organs that you see? Kidneys, very good. And after the kidney, where does the urine flow? The ureter on the left and right, then finally where? Urinary bladder, then urethra. Okay? Can you see that? Not very obvious. Kidney, ureter, urinary bladder, and then the urethra. Okay? Is everybody able to see that? Okay, now, let's go now to the reproductive organs. For the meantime, just concentrate on the male first. To get rid of urinary, go to reproductive. Okay. So very, very simple in men, right? What do men have? What's the male gonad class? It's testes, right? And then you have what? The glans penis there, see that? What is it? It looks like what? German helmet. And then you have the corpora cavernosa and spongia. Okay, and then you have what? Now from the testes, where does the sperm travel? From what is the name of that structure there? It's called what? Vasa deferentia, right? Or vas. You have the corpora cavernosa, vas deferens. And then if you go to the back of the specimen there, what do you see? What is that gland there on top? You have the prostate gland, and then above that would be what? Seminal what? Seminal what? Okay. Seminal vesicle, prostate gland, right? So these two glands, together with the bulbourethral Copper's gland, contribute to the formation of your what? Your semen, right? Okay. Is it clear? Okay. Now let's move on to the endocrine system, right? Can you see the endocrine system? Okay, so let's go to the endocrine system this time. Get rid of reproductive. Okay, endocrine system. So you only have a few glands there, right? Okay. So what do you see there? On top you have what? In the brain, what do you have? Hypothalamus. What else? You have your what? Pituitary gland, right? Hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and then the small gland that secretes melatonin is what? The pineal gland, the small one, right? So hypothalamus, pituitary gland, pineal gland, and then what about in the neck? Thyroid gland, as we call, secretes what hormones? T3, T4, and then what? Calcitonin. And there are another gland embedded on the thyroid called the parathyroid gland, secretes what hormone? Parathyroid gland, okay? Or hormone. Then what is the gland on top of the kidney? Adrenal gland, right? Right, see that? And then of course the gland behind or underneath the stomach is called what? Pancreas. And then in the case of male gonad, what is the male gonad? That is also an endocrine gland. And what is the name of the hormone secreted with the testes class? Very good. Okay. Now let's move on to the get rid of the endocrine system. Let's move on this time to the respiratory system. Okay. There. Okay, so you see the respiratory system there? Okay. Okay, what do you see there? On top you have what sinus is that? In front of the frontal bone? Frontal sinus. There you go. And then you see what's the biggest sinus? Maxillary on both left and right maxilla. And then in the middle you have, it says there, The pharynx would be divided into what? Nasopharynx, oropharynx, and laryngopharynx. Okay, and then of course, okay, see that? So nasopharynx, sinuses. Now what is the structure inside the nose? Now let's try to dissect the sinuses, okay? With your dissection tool, dissect the sinus. Okay, the sinuses, get rid of the sinuses. Maxillary. You see the ethmoid sinus there? Okay. There you go. So you notice there it says what? Conchae, right? Nasal conchae. That's made of bone. And it could either be made of ethmoid or bone itself. Now let's go down. What is the structure after that? Would be the larynx. See the word larynx there?
Yeah.
Then under the larynx would be what? The windpipe, right? And then you have right lung, and then what? The left lung. Technically, the right lung has 3 lobes. What about the left lung?
2.
2. Okay. Now I want you to dissect the right lung. Okay. Did you see the pleura first?
Yes.
After the pleura, you have the bronchial tree. Why? Because it resembles what? The branches of a tree, right? Okay. We have there. Did you see the right main bronchus or brainstem bronchus? Okay, there you go. Now let's move on to the left lung. Okay, dissect the left lung. I can see the word pleura. What is the name of that membrane that protects the lung? The pleura. You have visceral and parietal pleura. Click on that. You can now see the lung itself. You have 2 lobes in the left lung. Click on the left lung. What do you see now? Again, parts of the bronchial tree. So the trachea bifurcates into 2, the right and left main stem bronchus, right? And of course, you have all the primary bronchus, secondary, tertiary bronchus, which are all made of cartilages. And what is not made of cartilage would be the bronchioles, which is lined with smooth muscles. Okay? Okay, so now you can move on to your graded test for both digestive, urine, repro, and the other one would be endocrine and respiratory. So this is now going to be your graded test. Go ahead, take the test. And once you're done, form a line in front, and I will get to confirm the scores you have on my computer.